Great. So now that you've seen yourself, I feel like I need to sit on a book. So now that you've seen yourself and you've counted the ratio, you got what?
5 positive, 2 negative.
Mm-hmm. And so, how does that make you feel? Like, how are things actually going?
It seems better than I thought when I was doing it, but I can still what I can tell and like what like gives me hives is like the like fidgeting and small noises. I think that's what's really ruining my mood.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's the it's the small things that are make it difficult for me.
Okay.
Like it makes me want to like I'm like twisting my pencil like
just
right
thinking
now,
about
thinking
it,
about
like hearing the like little.
Yeah.
Because, and maybe that's on me for next time. Like I film, I want to pan out and show you that even the fidgeting is still on task.
Right, and I know, I think I know that sometimes, and it's still like, I don't know.
It just feels worse than it is.
It feels worse.
That's really interesting. Okay.
And maybe it's because half the day I spend with 10th graders who don't like fidget in that same way. Plus the classes are just small. Like a class of 28 people is like gonna have like feel fidgety, and it's just
so like, the anxiety levels like rise as the fidgeting increases, and then that makes it even more.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it is more positive than I thought in the moment.
Yes. And I wanted to also talk about what strategies could have happened in the moment with Kaya, where she pulled something out of left field that we didn't see coming. And then Hannah did something even weirder. And it was like, oh my God, this isn't what we had planned. I know you warm called both of them, right? Like where I was like, cool, I'm going to hand you this and you're going to show me what you've got. So what could have happened then once you realized that they went off script and it's like, there's an error on the screen? Like a low-cost way, transactionally speaking, like from the like time it takes for like the lesson learned.
Right. So that's my main. I thought like that even though there was like a lot of good thinking going on there, my concern is just how long it took.
Yeah.
That's the real thing.
I agree. And so how could we have like kind of implemented like a quick kind of turn on your heels, pivot, and now do something different? What would that look like?
Sure. Like I said, I got a lot of advice on that because I really just like the only thing I could think of is to like have them just struggle through that that point.
I agree. So I think that that's what you did.
Yeah.
And I think that it worked insofar as like you gave them the respect and the time and the stage to do that. And I thought that it ended with Kaya and Hannah not feeling singled out at all. Yeah. And so there was no missed opportunity for like modeling the respect and like the error analysis, like the growth mindset was fine, but I'm wondering if you had a procedure in place for error analysis where it's like, oops, like there's something up here that's not quite right.
Right. So before they got to the box method, like it was just a quick thing I wanted her to like fix was that she had like done the wrong order of the slope formula.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, sorry, I just lost our coaching doc. Yeah. So what if your show call method includes a formal error analysis protocol? And it looks like 1, you identify that there's an error on the board. 2, you give them 1 minute to turn and talk to their partner about where they think the error might have come from and how their version of the answer is either similar or different.
Yeah.
And you walk around as they're talking about it, and then you warm call back and say like, okay, let's break this down. Yeah. What happened here? Now, I'm going to erase the screen. Here's how we actually did it, and you like actually get like Danny's answer first.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Do we in that situation, so I stopped Kaya kind of immediately because I thought she had just like, I stopped her immediately because I had seen it correct on her paper and I thought she literally just like misread something. Is the idea then that like we let her finish that problem incorrectly completely and then do the error protocol, or like stop her in that moment?
So I think you stop her at the point where you know that like kids, that's like going to be probably an individual
that's like problem
call.
to problem.
Yeah, I think so, right? And so I think at the point where she now has set up like the wrong rise, right? Like she's got like a bizarre, I don't know what happened. What did she put on the top? It was like
she had like the second y minus the first x or something like that.
Yes. At the point, so There's already something wrong, and that's actually a pretty easy error to unpack, I think, for most kids. 30 seconds, turn and talk to your pod, like, what's wrong here? This is step one of, like, calculating the slope of a pretty straightforward thing. So, like, what did she do? Ready, go. And then having someone else be like, actually, what I think Kaya might have done is take the second y and try and subtract it from the first x. And what could have happened is that she actually subtracts, right, like y2 minus y1. And so I think giving them the 1 minute turn and talk, circulating to warm or cold call the error and show call the right answer and unpack in student voices. I think there's another piece here that I think was a missed opportunity. What do you think was missing from like this side? You asked for a whole lot of input from kids, and that was awesome. But at what point do you think that they felt like you were like really appreciated that?
Were you saying I missed counting one?
No, I think like there were lots more opportunities to have classes over here in that moment, in those 7 minutes.
Yeah.
What do you think you could have done like to really ramp up like the joy, right? Like you're bringing them to life. What could you have done differently maybe? Just to like add to.
I'm not sure.
Maybe just like incentivize it, reward them. Like, I love the tangible like merit system, or even just being like, thank you for that.
I usually have that, but it's just not going today.
Yeah, and I think that that's like part of it, right? It's just like making it really visible, making it really audible, that you really appreciate and value, even when they get it wrong. That's okay, and you're amazing. Like, that's so brave of you to do what you just did. Because I think that that's the piece that's missing too, is like this willingness to like see maybe. And I think that like, I'm wondering if even kids like Julio, right, like might just feel a little less timid if he had like, oh, okay, it's okay to like be wrong. I just need to like try. So reward and praise the student voices every time you hear them. So what's the what?
So thinking specifically about like to keep doing the show call.
Yep.
There will be errors that happen.
Yeah.
And to like have a protocol for when those errors do happen.
Yep.
That involves like giving the entire class time to spot the error.
Totally.
And that's like a really easy, like as I'm walking around, if you can tell me what the error is, that's a merit. Like really easy to incentivize that with the ticket system.
Totally. Yes. And I think that your kids will appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's like kind of like banging out, I would say, at least 3 strands on our evaluation rubric too, right? It's empowering students, it's modeling the growth mindset, and it's also saying like, you know, this is actually holding high academic expectations because I'm stopping you at the point of error and I'm letting everybody else help you fix it. And I think that there's really like power in that, instead of you being the like carrier of what's right and wrong. Let other people tell them what's right and wrong. I think that 80% of your kids probably could have unpacked it at that point where she put the wrong first thing up there. And then it kind of went off the rails a little bit. But even when Hannah, like let's say that you had let it go there and then Hannah puts the box up there, I wonder if you had given them a minute to turn and talk about like what that box should look like. Even if you had let it go that far, I wonder how many kids probably could have been like, oh, that is one way to look at it. I bet Annie could have. I think he was like, I don't know. I was like, yeah, sure. So I think that's totally cool. There was one last thing that I wanted to practice really quick, because I think it's tough to practice an error analysis without the actual error. And so I was thinking about the missed opportunities that even just from those 7 minutes we could do, right? Like moments to narrate what you see, moments to praise what's happening, and moments to redirect. And I think we had at least 2, right?
Yep.
Cool. So what could you have narrated? What does that sound like?
So the video starts like right when Kai's about to start using the iPad, right? I think one of the things I don't narrate enough, like I don't narrate people paying attention to the speaker well enough. Like I could have narrated beginning like so and so's like ready to listen to Kaya, and like doing a job of like supporting their teammates in that moment.
Is ready.
Because when it's that situation, it's pretty much like it's either negative or nothing, right? It's either like
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like if you're not doing it, then it's obvious, and I think that goes back to that like confirmation bias is real, right? Like if you look for the negative, that's what you're going to get, and it's real. So thinking about if you're ready to narrate what it is that's going well, you're going to see that, and then other kids are going to see that and hear that, and they're going to follow suit for the most part. 99% of kids, 99% of the time, want to do the right thing. And so I think Blank is ready to listen to Kaya. Blank is tracking Kaya. What would you praise in that like opening part? What was like extraordinary about what happened in that moment? Especially knowing your kids.
I think it's like one. I'm trying to think of like when is a good right, because I don't want to like can't like because what was great was like when Kai was like actually doing the things right, like even if they were wrong, like but I don't want to like